So let's first understand how this game works. In order to start this game, user has to click on the green flag. As user will click on the green flag, we can see there is one shark sprite. There are few yellow fish and one red fish. Yellow fish is our good fish and the red one is the bad fish. So shark has to eat good fish. If the shark will eat the good fish, score will increase by 1. But on the other side, if shark will touch the bad fish by mistakenly, then we can see coming, and along with that score will again go back to 0. So this is how shark has to eat as many good fish as he can, and our score will increase by 1. Here we can observe one thing. If shark is eating the good fish is hiding and it is coming after some time. And our shark sprite is following our mouse pointer. So let's create this game. In order to create this game, you have to create a new scratch file. And from here, we will delete this orange cat. Now let's add one shark sprite from the sprite library. Now we will select one good fish and one bad fish. So let's say I am selecting this one as a good fish. And crab as my bad fish. You can select any sprite of your choice also. Now let's add one nice backdrop. So from here I am selecting underwater theme and let's select the first backdrop. Now first we will do the programming for shark sprite. So click on the shark sprite. From events we will select when green flag is clicked. At the beginning we want shark sprite to be visible. So we will add one show block. Now let's fix the size of our shark sprite. For that, from looks palette you can select set size to. Instead of 100%, let's keep it size as 90%. So this much size is fine. So now we want shark should follow our mouse pointer. For that we will go to motion and from here we will select point towards mouse pointer. Now over here you can see wherever you are keeping your mouse pointer, shark is following it. Now we want this has to be a continuous process. For that from control palette we will add one forever block. Now let's see how it works. Here you can see wherever I am keeping my mouse pointer, shark is following that direction. Along with this we want shark sprite should move also. For that from motion palette we will add move 10 steps block. Drag it and add it inside forever. Now let's see how it works. Over here we can see shark is moving, but it's moving so fast. In order to decrease its speed, we have to decrease the number of steps. So instead of 10 steps, let's add 5 steps. Now here we can see shark is moving slowly. But here you can observe this glitch. This glitch should not happen. In order to avoid this glitch, we have to add one if-then condition. So let's go to operators and we will add one if-then condition. Drag it and attach it here. Now let's go to operators and from here we will select greater than block. Now let's go to send signal and from here we will select distance to mouse pointer and instead of 50 here we will mention number 5. So if the distance between mouse pointer and shark is greater than 5, it means your mouse pointer and shark they are far away, then only we will allow shark to move. So let's drag this move block and we will keep it over here. If this condition is false, if the distance between mouse pointer and shark is not greater than 5, it means mouse pointer and shark, if they are close to each other, then we don't want shark to move, otherwise the shaking effect will happen again. So now let's see how it works. Over here we can see now the shaking effect is not happening. Sharks do the coding for good fish. So we will click on good fish. From events we will select when green flag is clicked. At the beginning we want good fish to be visible. Hence from looks palette we will add show block. Now let's fix the size of good fish also. For that we will select set size to. Instead of 100, let's fix its size as 80%. Now let's try to move this good fish. For that we will go to motion and we will add move 10 steps. Now we want good fish should move continuously. For that from control palette we will add forever. So this is how move 10 step block is inside forever. Now let's see. Over here we can see good fish is moving continuously, but it is moving only in one direction. For that we will go to motion and we will add turn block. Let's drag this block and keep it over here. Instead of fixing 1 degree for turning, we will add some random degree. So let's go to operators and we will add pick random block. Now here let's add some range as -10 to +10. Motion palette we will select if on edge bounce. Drag it and keep it here. Now let's check. Over here we can see good fish is moving properly. If it is touching the edges, it is bouncing and it is coming back. Now if you want to decrease the speed of good fish, over here we can decrease the number of steps. Let's say over here I am adding number 4. You can try with different numbers also. So this is how good fish is moving properly. Now if the good fish and shark, if they both are touching each other, then we want to add one nice sound. After that we want good fish should get height. So it will look like shark is eating the fish and score should increase by 1. For that we will go to control and we will add one if then block. Drag it and connect it here. Now let's go to sensing and from here we will select touching mouse pointer. So here good fish is checking whether I am touching shark or not. If yes, then let's add one nice sound. For that we will click on this sound option. Let's go to sound library to add one nice sound. Over here we have different categories available. If you want to hear some sound, you can just click on it and the sound will come. So right now let's say I want to add some pop sound. So select that particular sound. Over here we can see that sound is added in this list. Now let's go to code. From sound palette we will add start sound pop. Now we want good fish should get height. For that we will go to looks and we will add height block. And score should increase by 1. So first of all we will add one score variable. So let's go to variables and from here we will create a new variable name as score. So let's click over here and write variable name as score. Now from the left hand side we will select set my variable to 0. Drag it and connect it below when green flag is clicked. Now instead of my variable we will select score. So set score to 0. At the beginning we are setting the value inside score variable as 0. Now whenever good fish is touching the shark, then only we want score should increase by 1. For that here we will add change my variable by 1 and instead of my variable over here we will select change score by 1. Now let's see how it works. Here we can see as soon as shark has touched the good fish, score is 1 and the good fish is hidden. Now after some time we want good fish should appear again. For that we will go to control and we will select some wait block. So let's say wait for 2 seconds and then we will add show block. So every time when shark will touch the good fish, it will get height. Score will increase by 1. It will wait for 2 seconds and then only good fish will appear again. So over here if we will fix the number of seconds, then user will come to know after every 2 seconds only the good fish will come, which will not look good. Hence, instead of fixing the number of seconds, here we will add some random seconds. So from operators, we will add pick random block. Let's add range as 1 to 5. So good fish will wait for some random seconds between this range and then only it will appear. Now let's see how it works. Right now score value is 0. As soon as shark is eating the good fish, score value is 1 and the good fish is appearing after waiting some random number of seconds. So right now we want good fish should come from the edges also, from left or right edge, any side. For that, we will assign some number. Let's say if it is waiting for 1 second, then it should come from left side, or if it is waiting for 2 seconds, then good fish should come from right side. For that, we will go to controls and we will select if then and else block, drag it and keep it before this show block. So your show block has to be here. Now we will go to operators and from here we will select is equals to, drag it and attach it here. Now let's add one pick random block. So pick random from 1 to 2 if it is equals to 1. If good fish is waiting for 1 second. Motion palette we will add one go to block. From operators we will select pick random block for y-axis. So if good fish is selecting random seconds as 1, then we will ask good fish to come from right direction, right edge, which is plus 240 for x-axis. So here we will mention 240 and y can be random. It can come from any location, top, bottom, from the center also. So for y coordinate, here we will mention minus 180 to plus 180. And if the good fish is random seconds as 2, then from motion palette, we will select go to XY block. And from operators, again we will select pick random for Y. For x-axis, this time we want fish should come from the left direction. So on the left, x coordinate is minus 240. Hence over here we are mentioning minus 240. And for y-axis again, pick random from minus 180 to 180. So it can come from top, it can come from center, or it will come from the bottom location also. Now let's see how it works. Now we can see sometimes it is coming from left or right edge also, which gives the natural look to this. Now for the shark sprite, in the costume sections we can see there are total 3 costumes for shark. Costume A, B and C. So if we will switch this costume continuously, it will look like shark is eating the fish. Now let's add this effect. For that we will go to code section and from here we will click on the fish sprite. So whenever shark is touching the good fish will broadcast one message. For that we will go to events and from here we will select broadcast message 1, drag it and connect it over here. Now instead of message 1, here let's write message name as good fish. Now let's go to the shark sprite. Whenever shark sprite is receiving good fish message, we want to switch its costume. For that we will go to looks and from here we will select switch costume to. Let's switch its costume to B. Then we will wait for some time. Let's say wait for 0.1 second. And immediately we will switch its costume to shark A. Now let's continue this process for 3 times. For that we can go to control and from here we will select repeat block. Instead of 10, here we will add repeat 3 times. Now let's see how it works. Here you can see if the shark is touching the good fish, it's switching its costume and it's looking like shark is really eating this food. Now let's do the coding for the bad fish. For the bad fish, we will copy the same code that we wrote for good fish. So let's drag this part of code and we will copy it for the bad fish. So for the bad fish, entire code will remain same. Here we just have to make two changes. First one is, if shark is touching the bad fish, which is crab, instead of changing score by 1, we have to reset score to 0. Score should go back to 0. And instead of pop sound, we will add some dangerous sound. For that, first we will replace this block. So just remove this change score by block, and from variable, you can select set my variable block, drag it and connect it here. Instead of my variable, here we will select set score to 0. Now scroll little up. Over here, instead of start sound pop, we have to select some other sound. For that, let's go to sound library. From here, we will search for some dangerous sound. So I am going to select this one as dangerous sound. Let's select it. Now let's go to code section. Instead of pop, we will select this one, which is scream 1. Now let's see how it works. Over here we can see crab is also moving. Right now the score is 1. Now the score value has changed to 2. Now let's touch the bad. We can see score value is 0. So this is how whenever shark will touch the bad fish, which is crab, score will reset to 0. Now whenever shark will touch the bad fish, let's broadcast one message. So instead of good fish, we will write message as bad fish. Now let's go to the shark sprite. Whenever shark will receive bad fish message, that time we will switch its costume to shark C, which is this costume. This costume is little dangerous one, and we will change its color. So let's add change color effect by 25. It should wait for some time. Let's say here we will add wait for 0.5 seconds. And then we want to clear the graphic effects. We want shark to be in normal position again. For that, we will add one clear graphic effects option. And we will change its costume to our normal costume. So let's add shark A. Now we will see how it works. So this is how all the effects are working properly. Now in this game, we have only one good fish. So we will right click on it and we will duplicate. This is how we can add multiple good fish. So let's say right now I am duplicating it 7 times. So we have so many good fish available. Now let's see how it works. Whenever shark is touching good fish, score is increasing by 1. And if shark is touching the crab, which is bad fish, score is again going back to 0. So this is how Hungry Shark game works. Hello everyone. In this session, we will create our own snake game. So first, let's understand how this game works. In order to start this game, user has to click on the green flag. As soon as user will click on the green flag, we can see there is one red color sprite on the screen, which is nothing but a snake sprite. Along with that, we can see there is one food sprite, which is yellow in color. So this is how snake sprite has to touch the food sprite. As soon as the snake sprite will touch the food sprite, score will increase by 1. And along with that, the length of snake sprite will also increase. Over here at the beginning, we can see the length of snake is 3. One block of snake head is available and 2 blocks of snake body is visible properly. As soon as the snake will touch the food, over here we can see the length of snake has increased. Along with that, the score value is 1. So this is how every time when snake will touch the food, score and length of the snake will increase by 1. Now, whenever snake will touch any edge, left, right, top or down, game over will happen. Over here we can see snake has touched the top edge and hence game over has happened. So now let's get started with this project. For that, you have to create a new scratch file and from here we will delete this orange cat. Now, for this snake game, instead of selecting a ready-made sprite from sprite library, we are going to paint our own sprites. For that, we will click on this option and from here we will select paint. After clicking on paint option, you will get one screen like this. Now from here, you have to select no outline option. And by clicking on this option, you can select any color of your choice for the snake sprite. So let's say I'll select blue color. After selecting color of your choice, you have to click on this plus sign to zoom your paint section. You have to zoom in till you see this sign in the middle. Now you can click on this rectangular shape and with the help of this tool, you have to draw one square of 4 by 4 size. So let's say we will draw it over here. Your square has to be exactly in the middle like this. Once you are done drawing your square, you have to right click on this costume option and say duplicate. Now you can click on the costume 1 option and from here we have to click on this circle option. Let's select black color. And with the help of this, we will draw one small eye for our snake. So this becomes the head of our snake sprite. For that, here in the costume section, we will change its name to head. And the second costume is nothing but the body for our snake sprite. Hence, you can click on costume 2 and from here you can change its name to body. So this is how for one snake sprite, we have 2 costumes. One is head and second one is body. Now let's paint food sprite. For that, we will click on this and we will select paint. Now from here, we will select one color for our food sprite. So let's say I am selecting red. Now here again, we have to zoom in our paint section. And by selecting this circle tool, we have to draw one circle in the middle. So this is the food for our snake. On the stage area here we can see there are 2 sprites. Now let's go back to code section. Now let's add one nice backdrop. For that you can click on this option where it's written choose a backdrop. From this library, you can add any backdrop of your choice. I am selecting blue sky 2. So over here, I have added blue sky backdrop. You can add any backdrop of your choice. Now, if you will go to backdrop sections, over here we can see blue sky backdrop is available. Along with this backdrop, we want to add one more backdrop for game over. For that, you can click on this option and select paint. Now from here, you can select letter T. And by clicking on this option, select any color using which you want to write game over. Now click on this option and write game over. In order to increase its height and width, you have to click outside once. Then you will get one box like this. And from here, you can adjust its height and width. So this is how right now we have two backdrop. First one is blue sky and second one is for game over. From here you can change its name to game over. Now let's go back to our coding section. Over here at the beginning, when our game will get started, that time we want to display our normal backdrop, which is blue sky. For that, we will go to events and we will select when green flag is clicked. Now from looks palette, we will select switch backdrop to. From here, we will click on this drop down arrow and we will select blue sky 2. Now let's see how it works. Over here we can see blue sky backdrop is visible properly. Now let's do the coding for snake sprite. For that we will click on sprite 1. Now over here for snake sprite at the beginning we want to display the head part of our snake. Along with that we want snake should always point in right direction. So let's do the coding for this. From left hand side, you can click on events and select when green flag is clicked. Then we will go to looks and from here we will select switch costume to. By clicking on this drop down arrow, we can select head. So whenever user will click on the green flag, snake's costume will switch to head costume. Now we want snake should always point in right direction at the beginning. For that we will go to motion. And from here we will select point in direction 90. Now let's click on the green flag. Over here we can see snake's head is visible properly and it is pointing in right direction. Now if you want to increase the size of this snake sprite, you can go to looks palette and from here you can select set size to. Instead of 100%, you can switch it to 200% also. So this is how by using set size option you can change its size. Now let's go to the food sprite. For food sprite also we will change its size. For that we will select when green flag is clicked and from looks palette we will select set size to. So let's say food sprite we will keep as 130%. Now let's see how it looks. So this is proper. Now let's do the coding for snake sprite. Now, whenever user will press up arrow key, we want snake should point in up direction. Whenever user is pressing down arrow key on their keyboard, we want snake should point in down direction. Similarly, for right and left arrow key, whenever user is pressing right and left arrow key, snake should point in right and left direction. For that, we will go to events. And from here we will select when space key is pressed. Now we will click on this drop down arrow and we will select up arrow. Whenever up arrow key is pressed, from motion palette we will select point in direction. By default point in direction is 90, which is right direction. So we will click on this 90. As soon as you will click on this 90, you will get one box like this. So from here, you can drag this arrow and you can keep it here. So this is how 0 indicates up direction. So now we will duplicate this 3 times for down, left and right arrow key. So here we will select down arrow, point in direction. Instead of 0 over here, we will keep it 180. So this is how 180 indicates down direction. Now we will check for right arrow. When right arrow key is pressed, instead of this 0, we will select positive 90. Positive 90 indicates right direction. Now same thing we will do for left arrow. From here we will select left arrow. Whenever left arrow key is pressed, by clicking on this 0, we will change its direction to minus 90. So this is how minus 90 indicates left direction. So let's see how it works. Now I am pressing up arrow. You all can see up, down, left, right. It is pointing in all 4 directions properly.
Now let's do the coding for food sprite. For that, we will click on the food sprite. Now over here at the beginning, when user will click on the green flag, we want food sprite to be visible. For that, we will go to looks, and from here we will select show block, drag it and attach it over here. After this, we want whenever snake sprite will touch the food, that time food should go to any random location. So here food sprite needs to check for one condition, and whenever we want to check for any condition, we have to select if and then block from control palette. So from here we will select control and we will add one if and then block. Drag it and attach it over here. Now we will go to sensing palette and from here we will select touching mouse pointer. Drag it and attach it here. Instead of touching mouse pointer, we will select sprite 1. So over here our sprite 1 is nothing but snake sprite. So this is how food sprite is checking whether I am touching sprite 1, which is nothing but snake sprite. If yes, then what should happen? That part of code we will write over here. So whenever food sprite is touching the snake sprite, that time we want food sprite to go to random location. So in the motion palette we can see we have one block called as go to random position. So here if we will use this block directly, then there are chances that food can go on the edges also. This should not happen. Hence, instead of selecting this option directly, we will add go to XY block. So we will drag it and we will attach it here. Now let's go to operators and from here we will add one pick random block. Drag it and connect it to x-axis. Similarly, we will add one more pick random block and we will connect it to y-axis also. Now, as we know, the coordinate for x-axis are from -240 to +240. So, instead of selecting extreme coordinates, we will select the range 200 to -200. So, over here we will write go to x pick random 200 to -200. Now for y-axis the coordinates are from -180 to +180. So over here for y-axis also, instead of selecting the extreme coordinates, here we will select range as 150 to -150. So food sprite will go anywhere randomly in between this range. Now as soon as the food sprite is touching the snake sprite, first thing is food sprite should get hide so that it will look like the snake has touched the food properly. For that we will go to looks and from here we will select one hide block. So first food will get hide, then it will go to any random location and after some time it should appear again. Hence we will add one show block. Now over here we want food sprite should continuously check whether snake is touching me or not. Hence we will go to control and we will add one forever block. So this is how your entire if then is inside forever. Now we will do the programming for snake sprite. Over here snake is only pointing in up, down, left and right direction, but it is not moving at all. So here we will add one move 10 steps block from motion palette. Drag it and connect it here. Now we want snake sprite should move continuously. Hence from control we will add forever block. So here move 10 steps block is inside forever. Now let's see how it works. Here we can see snake is moving continuously. Now let's fix the original position of snake sprite. So we will fix its original position at the center. For that, from motion palette, we will select go to XY block. Both X and Y coordinate has to be 0. So this is how by adding 0 and 0 for both X and Y, we can bring our sprite exactly at the center location. So this is how whenever user is pressing green flag, snake is coming to center position and it is moving continuously. So we want multiple copies of the same sprite should move along with the snake. For that, from control palette, we will select create clone of myself block. We'll drag it and we will attach it over here. Now let's see how it works. Over here we can see multiple clones are getting created. So now let's add some delay so that we can see all the clones properly. For that, from control, you can add one wait 1 second block and attach it over here. So snake sprite will move 10 steps, then it will create clone of itself and it will wait for 1 second. Let's see how it works. Here we can see it is moving, it is creating clone and then it is waiting for some time. But the blocks are not visible properly. For that, we will increase the number of steps over here. Instead of 10 steps, let's try with 25 steps. Now, here we can see the snake eye is visible. Instead of 25, you can try with 30 steps also. This is absolutely trial and error method. You have to try with different numbers and check. For 30 steps, over here we can see multiple blocks are visible, but all the blocks are snake's head only. We want one block of snake head should appear and after that multiple blocks of snake body should appear. Now here in the costume section we can see first costume is snake head and second costume is snake body. Now whenever clones are getting created, that time we want all the clones of snake body should appear. Hence, from control, we will select when I start as a clone. Now from looks palette, we will select switch costume to body. So this is how whatever clones will get created, those clones will be of snake's body. Let's see how it works. Over here we can see only one block of snake head is visible and other blocks of snake bodies are coming. Now, instead of 30 steps, let's change it to 35 steps and we will see what is the difference. Over here we can see there is some gap and if I am pressing up, down, left, right arrow key, snake is moving properly.